Hi, I'm Kyanoxia, previously known as Spektacle. You might be wondering, why did you change your name? Or even, who are you? I'm here to answer both of those questions that may be burning in your mind today. By the end of this short introduction, you will be caught up to speed on my current name's meaning, why I decided to change names, and who I even am. My name is Kyanoxia. I'm just another person like you and your friends, but I've found a way to express myself through various forms of art. Throughout my life, I've struggled with finding the right way to convey my own emotions, that is, until I found this amazing software called Blender. Blender allowed me to represent my emotions through different symbolisms and pieces of art that others can understand. Now, you may be thinking, what do you mean, symbolism? This is one of my earlier renders. Although you'll almost never find yourself in a situation where you're caught in a storm of chaotic red spheres bouncing all about, you can start to understand the meaning of this piece. The confusion on our subject's face, and the chaos around him while he simply observes, having no way to stop it. I do hate to be blunt, but the subject represents me, and the bouncing balls around him represent the aspects of the world that I can't control, the stuff that brings in a mandatory lack of order. Now, although I didn't model this fine gentleman in the middle, I was still given a way to express my emotion through this piece. That's what I love about art. You can say what you think without words. Let's take a look at another one. This is another early render I made. A cube sitting alone, half buried, represents my own mind. Buried in the unknown, stuck halfway between consciousness and whatever lies beneath the sand. I have a whole folder full of other renders I've made, some recent, some older, but all of them have something in common. They all mean something very dear to me. They all have a special place in my heart, as they're a part of me that I open up to the world. I'm an artist. I make things to convey a feeling. I make things to allow other people to understand, to share my experiences. You might have known that those two pieces there had some rather dark undertones. Well, that's because I really didn't know who I was up until recently. Ever since around the age of 13, I've been in a dark place, struggling to find individuality, to find purpose. Lost in a sea of chaos, confusion, and judgment, I had an identity crisis. If you are one of the people with whom I've shared the unlisted video titled What is Life, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let's first discuss how Spektacle came to be. Ever since I first appeared online, I've had the alias Spektacle. Me and my brothers brainstormed the name in our bedroom one day, and we originally chose it because I've always worn glasses or spectacles for my whole life. It was the only defining thing I really had. I was the guy with glasses as the only thing that made me different. A while later, I reconstructed the meaning of the name. It now served a larger purpose, to bring a show for you to watch, to see my life as it was a movie, a spectacle. I wanted to be different so badly that I desired to broadcast my own life for other people to see, hoping they would find something of attraction. This was the first time I decided I wanted to be a YouTuber. I wanted to vlog. Well, needless to say, it didn't really work out. After my drive for vlogging diminished, I learned Blender. I had found it through my older brother, who was following the famous donut tutorial. I downloaded the program, turned on the playlist, and immediately fell in love. I could create anything I want, images fabricated by my very thought. I was 12 years old. I continued to hone my skills as an artist and learned enough skill to help people online with trouble they were having in the program. So when I was 15, I made a YouTube tutorial channel under the name Spektacle. I also created a Discord server with approval by my parents to help people with Blender, to teach. This is my thing, my unique. This was me. Until I made a mistake. I was never allowed to talk to randoms online aside from those in my own server, and I knew this. The mistake was that I joined other servers to help hone my skills. In those servers, I unknowingly made friends with a horrible person who shall stay unnamed. My parents found out and identified them as a threat, and took me back to reality by deleting my online presence and buying me a MacBook so they could more closely monitor me. Spektacle was no more than a thought in my own head. It broke me and drove me to an even darker place than I already was. I could no longer share my art with anyone. I was alone in my own thoughts once again, and there was nothing I could do about it. For a year, I struggled through the last part of high school and the first semester of college. It was hard. I didn't have a phone, I barely had a computer, and I couldn't stay in contact with anyone because my Discord account was closed. I was the worst I could have been, and on top of that, I was going to therapy, which made me feel worse. I dropped out of college after the first overwhelming semester, in which I only passed one class out of 4. After I broke down in my bedroom from stress, I talked to my parents about it. I told them how much I want people to see my art, to feel my feelings, and the greatest honor of all, I wanted someone to ask me to make art for them. They understood and agreed that I could open a Fiverr account to try and make commissions. Shortly after I opened my Fiverr, I got contacted by a VTuber I watched frequently, and I was ecstatic. I made Twitch screens for starting soon, ending, and break time, fully animated, and I really put my heart and soul into that commission. A few months after I finished that commission, I was allowed by my parents to get back online, and I was reunited with some old friends over Twitch. I immediately modded them, and we started talking again. We were streaming Minecraft together and just had a blast building and talking in Minecraft, and even on Discord after my parents' approval. After my 17th birthday, which was about a week ago, I was allowed to go back on Discord unrestricted. I immediately made a new server for me and my friends from Twitch, and after briefing one of my good friends on the situation, we thought of a new name, Kyanoxia. Spektacle was a name so full of grief, not to mention that someone who was going down the same career path already took the name and brand. I didn't want to encroach on their space, and I also wanted to get rid of this stained identity. It was a quick spur-of-the-moment decision where I decided that I'm going to change everything. Spektacle is no longer. I'm Kyanoxia now. A new version of myself. A better version. Carrying more wisdom and a happier mental state, I finally got back to where I was before. Kyanoxia has a very personal meaning to me. I've had people say that it's too long or too hard to remember, but I don't care. Kyanoxia is me. It represents myself, the hardships I've went through, and most importantly, this new me. Kyan comes from kyanite. It's a beautiful gem found deep underground, abused by pressure and the elements. But when given a chance and a quick polish, you can see that, despite being buried and forgotten, it really shines and shows its true colors. Kyanite represents persistence. Noxia, from Latin, fault, shows hurt, damage, manipulation. The hardships I've been through, almost too difficult to handle. Oxia, pertaining to oxygen, the air we breathe. Without it, we die. We give up. The name means this, persistently breathing. It serves to show that despite my previous hardships, I will carry on. Nothing can stop me, and I'll keep pushing forward. So that's me. Nice to meet you. For the time being, I'm going to just make content about playing games or making art. Eventually, I'm going to get a PNG model to represent myself, as I no longer desire to show my face online for personal security reasons. Until then, I'll be doing mostly handcam or no-cam content. I hope we can have fun together during this new chapter, and thanks for making it this far. Signing off for now, I'm Kyanoxia.